I think the most important thing is to spend time getting clarity on what it is that you want in your life, period. Not like out of a partner. I mean, like out of everything. What you want your relationships, like your friendships, to look like.
Hi, besties. Welcome back to the Single Besties Podcast. It is me, Montana Doran, your host, and I am joined with an in real life bestie today, Roxanne Acree. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited.
Can you tell people the thing that you just told me about your last name? Because that's cute.
Oh, Acree rhymes with bakery. If you say bakery the same way I do. Some people say bakery in 3 syllables. But I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and we say bakery. So Acree, bakery.
We're gonna get into the Southern girls vibe of the podcast, but we do have to start with a question.
Okay.
And here's the thing: she's not a single bestie. Oh my gosh, she's in a relationship, but we're talking all things purity culture today, and freezing your eggs. So she's a bestie.
Also, I've done some serious time single.
Wait, how much time?
Lots of time. Lots of like years and years and years. So
can we start the podcast with a question?
Okay.
When is the last time you went on a date? And not a first date, like a date with your man counts.
Okay. So last night I went on a date with my man. We celebrated our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, not planned.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
I wasn't planning on 5 years either. No, he was a one-night stand that ended up lasting 5 years.
Wait, what? That gives hope to the besties that are out there, putting it down.
Yeah, seriously though. Yeah, the secret to 5 years.
No, pause.
Okay.
Back up. How did you guys meet the one night? Like, how did that? And then how did it divulge into 5 years? That's what every single girl wants to know. Like,
oh, so we met drunk at a bar in Hermosa Beach, and I brought that man home with me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I mean the conversation was good, like the back and forth, the jokes, the laughter, like everything was just like really easy, and then like obviously the physical connection was there, and yeah, and like he like stayed the night, and the next morning it was just like he was just like so funny and easy to talk to and like cool, and it was like, oh, I think I kind of like this guy. But no, there were no expectations. We were very casual for a very long time.
Okay.
We didn't have the boyfriend girlfriend talk until almost 6 months into seeing each other, but we were seeing each other like all the time. And I did have a conversation with him just like after 3, we'll call them dates. After 3 dates. I was like, hey, I just, for sanitary purposes, like, I just need to know that, like, you're not banging anyone else kind of thing. And if you are, that's totally cool, but, like, I just need to know that so we can conduct ourselves accordingly kind of thing. And he was like, no, I don't want to be with anyone but you. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we were still, again, very casual, didn't have boyfriend-girlfriend discussions until a long time down the road. But, yeah, and I think we made it 5 years because we really try to communicate, like, openly and honestly with each other. So we've had to have some really tough conversations and ask each other tough questions, and we try to answer those even when we're giving answers that we know the other person doesn't want to hear.
No, I love that. And I love y'all's relationship. I love this beautiful home you guys have built together. And
yeah, we're doing all right. We didn't build this home. This is an apartment.
She built this home on a firm foundation.
Yeah, so he's a good one.
No, I love you guys together. Okay, so enough about relationships. Gross. Single Besties Podcast. I'm just kidding. I want it to be for everyone, like people in all different phases. And like you said, you put in your work. You put in the time.
I paid my dues.
You paid your dues. And we met out here. I saw you perform at a show, and you had jokes about purity culture. And I just
Lots of jokes.
I also had jokes about said purity culture, and so I just felt like, oh my gosh, I found a friend just through your jokes, and it was so nice. And then we connected, so I want to get into that. I feel like some people don't understand what it's like to grow up that way.
Well, especially out here in LA, like telling these jokes about, the true love waits ring.
Yeah.
I wore a ring on my like the wedding marriage finger that was engraved with the words true love waits.
Yeah.
And I had to sign a pledge promising to save my virginity for marriage.
I signed the contract too.
Yeah, and then I had to present that contract to my parents.
Yeah.
And it was so intense. And when you tell people about that out here, because so many people grow up not religious.
Yes.
Because this is like a melting pot from all over the world and the country. And so people don't have that same experience that we had. And they're like gagged. Like they're like flabbergasted. Like they can't wrap their head around telling children to promise they'll stay virgins,
I can't. Okay, so I'm still like, this sounds bad, but like I'm 29. I'm still like unpacking. Yeah, I'm.
I knew it.
Yes, I'm still like the 29-year-old virgin, and just waiting for my husband. But stop! Like, I'm still unpacking some of that like trauma and like the way, like literally I started this Single Besties podcast and I was like posting question stickers of like things, and they were talking about sex. And I was like, Mom, am I allowed to?
The way you just whispered that. They're talking about.
No, I know. See, I'm still unpacking it because talking about it publicly, especially like, I literally asked my mom, I was like, Mom, am I allowed to talk about sex on my podcast? I'm a grown woman, like literally still scared of that. And you literally just freely, openly said, yeah, the guy I've been dating for 5 years, it was a one-night stand. Like, how did you overcome that?
It's honestly a daily practice.
Okay.
And there's still a lot that I'm unpacking and working through in therapy. I have an incredible therapist I've been seeing for like 7 years. And I think the main problem that I've had to work through a lot because of purity culture is like, goes in conjunction with like modesty culture and things like that.
Yes.
Where it's like, I was responsible for the thoughts and feelings of other people. I was responsible for the like thoughts that other people were having around me. So if people perceived me a certain way, if people felt inappropriate quotation marks around, like inappropriate things around me, that was my fault and my responsibility, which is just insane. And also like still haunting me to this day, that it's like unlearning that and realizing that you're not responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, experiences, perceptions in general. That all you can control is what you can control. But like the unpacking the taboo-ness of sex. Yes. Stand up has helped a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
And finding humor in a lot of it. That's definitely helped, because I think that's an arena where we're allowed to like talk about everything.
Yes.
And so that's been very freeing for me, for sure.
The modesty thing too is crazy. Like, did you hear stuff like modest is hottest? And like when you
What is it with Christianity and finding these dumb little rhymes? Like, don't mistake a woman's meekness for weakness. Like, are you kidding me?
Wait, I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Give me some more.
Let me think of them.
Meekness is weakness.
No, meekness is not weakness.
Meekness is not weakness?
That's what they said.
Oh, we need to rebrand that. Meekness is weakness.
Meekness is weakness.
No, because I'm like getting ready to go out places and I'm like, oh, I can't wear that. Like, it's too, and I'm like.
Well, and I struggle with that as well, not only because of my like ultra Christian upbringing, but also like I dated a very like possessive guy who felt like it was, for me to show cleavage, that was disrespectful to him, to like have a low cut top on or something. And now I'm dating somebody who's the total opposite, who's like, why aren't you, bring your tits out? Like, what are you doing? Like, and so it's been a lot of like unlearning, and it wasn't just modesty and purity from the church. It was also, you know, shitty men acting like, you know, if I'm showing off parts of my body, that's immoral or disrespectful or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Dating in the church is wild. Did you ever do that? Date church boys?
Yeah. I love how we go on this like purity retreat, right?
Oh, God.
We like sign the pledge.
Yeah.
And then like I lose my virginity 6 months later to a guy at church.
Wait,
like,
see, this is why I knew we were going to be friends, because same.
And it's like...
Just kidding.
But
just
not.
the 29-year-old virgin.
But not kidding. Yeah, no, it was just, of course he did. Like, I was in church like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And so it was like, those are your friends that you see all the time. Like, you see those people just as much as you see some of the people you have classes with at school and stuff. So it was like only natural. Also, like church camps and retreats and stuff, those were just like horny little hotbeds, you know? Like,
literally, my brother said the first time he ever did drugs was at church, and then he like became a drug addict.
It's a canon event. We can't stop it.
Church camp is a gateway drug.
Just so many things.
No, it's funny though. And especially, like, I don't think people also understand, we need to bring awareness to this. When you would go to these sleepaway camps, the boys got to wear swimsuits. And what did we have to do?
We would have to wear one pieces and wear a t-shirt over our freaking one piece. Did you have to do that kind of thing too? Where it's like you basically had to wear clothes in the pool.
But the boys could have their nips out.
It was, oh my gosh, so infuriating. And I think, honestly, that might have been where my hatred for the patriarchy started.
Okay, go into that.
Well, I hate the patriarchy. That feels self-explanatory. No, but I think because Christianity, especially in the South, not everywhere, but in the South especially, is a very patriarchal system. Mm-hmm. Like, our church was a big deal because we ordained female deacons, and our church ended up getting kicked out of the Southern Baptist Convention.
You let women talk?
Can you believe? And
wait, deacons don't even really talk that much.
I know.
You let women like hold the door? Oh my God.
You let women pass around the offering plate?
Money? Oh my gosh.
But no, we had a female youth minister growing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Progressive church.
The bar is in the ground, people. A female youth minister telling us to cover our bodies, and we're like, progress. No, I was in a relatively progressive church, but like the role of women that was like communicated to me as, you know, a young child, even, it was like secondary, like second class almost. And I was such a little spitfire that I was like, no, I don't like this at all. And I was just a very rebellious child, and I think maybe had I not been in such a like a restrictive kind of religion, you know, that maybe I wouldn't have been so much.
No, I do think there is something to only teaching you can't do this, you can't do this. When you tell a kid that they can't do something, all they want to do is that.
Right.
And like some people go the opposite way, and like I know girls that are literally still 30-year-old virgins and like love you, respect, like so proud of you, keep going, true love waits. But then there's other kids like me that was like, no, if I'm having to sign a contract that I won't do this must be freaking awesome. Like, I want to know what it is.
Well, also hilarious that you mentioned that, because in my mind, it was like, oh, you're only supposed to have sex with one person in your life, like your husband, blah, blah, blah. And then I met this guy at 15 years old. I was like, oh, well, he'll just be my husband then. Like, I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not doing anything bad. Like,
we're getting married.
We're gonna get married. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I literally had a ring with his initials on it.
It's okay. I forgive you.
And the thing is, it wasn't his idea. He wasn't like, get this ring with my initials.
No, you just did it.
I was like, he gifted me a ring, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm for sure gonna put your initials on it. And he was like, ooh. I was such a little creep, but I was like, no, I'm gonna have sex with this guy, and then I'm gonna marry him, so it's fine.
Okay. How did that start affecting you as you got older and started dating? You moved out here. Like, how did it affect you as a growing person?
I think, truthfully, I had a lot more sex than I wish I would have in hindsight.
It's okay, Jesus forgives.
Not for that reason. I had a lot more, I should say, I had a lot more bad sex than I wish I would have. You know, like I didn't need to do that. Like, it wasn't with somebody I liked. It wasn't with somebody I actually genuinely wanted to do it with. It was just like this, it became an act of rebellion almost. It became like an act of like, you know, I have this joke where I talk about how it was reckless attention seeking that I had kind of convinced myself was feminism, you know?
Dang.
And
that's real.
And it was really fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was, you know, I look back on those times very fondly. But, like, I wish I had, I would have handled it differently if having sex hadn't, in my mind, equated to rebelling against the patriarchy and my Christian upbringing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, maybe this is just me, but like no one really taught you what to do, just not to do it. So then when you did do it, you didn't really know
what to do
or like
and
that you were allowed to say, hey, like,
what? Tell me.
I was gonna be like, hey, like, no, I don't like that, or do it this way, or like, you know, like, I look at me like having anxiety talking about sex.
Yeah,
this is literally still my purity culture. That's why I was like nervous to rebrand. I was scared to talk about it. You didn't know how to do it or to be like communicate about it healthily,
right?
Because you just felt like it was wrong.
Even in relationships with people, it was like you feel like sex isn't something you can talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a lot of time unlearning that. And I do want to be clear, like, I don't think having sex and going out and having one night stands isn't like self-respect or isn't feminism or whatever. Like, feminism shows up in every woman's choice to do whatever the hell they want. So I definitely am not saying that, but I'm saying, like, for me personally, I was having bad sex. That's not feminist for me, you know? Like I was letting guys do what they wanted to feel good, and I wasn't getting mine or feeling good for me personally. And so once I like took a deeper look at what I was doing, I was like, oh no, this should be more about my experience, what I'm getting out of it, and how I'm feeling.
Like equal opportunity. You know, we should both feel good.
But mostly me.
Yeah. Okay. True. But I mean, if you weren't having that phase, you wouldn't have this 5-year relationship.
Yeah, well, I didn't meet him in that phase.
Oh, okay.
That was a wild thing that happened. Like,
okay.
I was not in like a hoe phase, and then I went out and met him. It was like I hadn't been with anyone in a long time.
Okay, we're not judging.
But I'm just saying, my hoe phase was a couple years before that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So. Don't call it that. Was it that?
Oh,
are we allowed to say that?
Fondly.
See, I don't want to just like mess up the patriarchy.
Oh, so
is a hoe phase
good? A negative thing.
See,
that's so funny because I literally love that phase of my life.
What'd you learn in that phase? What would you say to a single bestie in their phase right now?
Oh, well, regardless of whether you're in a hoe phase or just like a being with yourself phase or whatever.
Yeah, whatever phase.
I think the most important thing is to spend time getting clarity on what it is that you want in your life, period. Not like out of a partner. I mean, like out of everything. Like what you want your relationships, like your friendships to look like, or your relationships with your family members, or maybe a romantic partner, what you want your, career, vocation, creative expression to look like, what you want your home to look like, what you want your time and financial freedom to look like literally every area of your life. Like, try and gain some clarity around what you would like that to look like. And then it seems so simple, but just take action steps towards achieving what you desire. Like that, the equation feels kind of simple when it's like, get clear on what you want and then take action steps to get what you want. And then everything just falls into place. Like, I'm one of those manifestation girlies.
Me too.
And so, okay, good. This is a safe space. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be like, wow, okay, woo woo.
Single Besties started off of a manifestation book.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I just got very clear about what I wanted, and then I held it with an open hand. So I wasn't like, I gotta have it
now.
Yeah, I was like, hold this with an open hand. And then my job at that point, after I got clear about what kind of life I wanted, my only job was to just operate at the frequency of what I wanted. And it could not miss me. And so I didn't so I was taking action steps, but I was like, my job is just to be like a higher vibration person, to give generously of my time and my money and my love and my ideas. When I had an idea for somebody, I was like, oh, this would be a funny joke you should tell. Oh, this, just be very generous, operate at that high vibration. And then it's like what you manifest, it just like, it can't miss you. Like it's coming right at you because you're operating at the same frequency as all those things that you wanted.
I love that. There's something that I say a lot, and it's like, what I want wants me more. Because, like, you can't, like, I feel like sometimes we want, and we're like, and we don't think it's going to come. And I'm like, no, what's for me is not, can't miss me because it's for me. It wants me more than I want me.
Yeah. No, I totally believe that. And there's places where there's, like, kinks in the hose, you know? So, like, I see all of this as, like, a pipeline to me, like, all the things in the pipeline to me. And there's some kinks in the hose that keep you from getting those things.
Yeah.
But I think when you do the work on yourself, things like forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for other people around you, when you do the gratitude work, not just grateful for what you have and experiences and things like that, but also grateful in the shitty stuff, you know? Where it's like, oh, I would rather it not be this way, but I'm going to be grateful in this experience as well. Not just like grateful for, because you're not going to be grateful for shit. You know, like,
no.
But you can be grateful in it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that takes the kinks out of the hose, that elevates your frequency, that gets you on that vibration where you're going to be receiving the things that you desire and the things that are meant for you.
I want to go back to what you said in the very beginning, because I think that's what a lot of people are really scared of, because you're like, get clear on what you want. I think a lot of people, the reason they're like chasing, going from do to do to do, doing all this, is because they're scared to sit with themselves. Like scared to sit with themselves and get clear. I've been there. Like, honestly, like, after that breakup, I did not want to sit with myself, like, until I had no choice but to sit with myself.
Right.
And so now I've been sitting with myself, and I'm a good time. But
amazing.
What do we say to the girls that don't want to sit with themselves and get clear?
Oh, but you're so great. Like, you're so awesome. And it'll happen for them. I know it will. A time when they'll look back and be like, remember when I didn't want to be with myself? It's like, that girl was crazy. Because I'm awesome. You know? And I feel like an investment in yourself, like, will always pay dividends. So there's no negative to investing in yourself. Like, there's no, what wrong can come from investing in yourself, from taking time to be with yourself? Can anything negative come from that? No. You're not going to miss your soulmate. If it was your soulmate, you wouldn't miss him. Like, that's the whole thing. And so it's like, there's no downside. And for me, I had no idea what the hell I wanted. Okay? No idea. I didn't know what I wanted for a career. I had a quarter-life crisis at 25 years old and completely switched my career. I had no idea what I was doing. Responding to, like, receptionist jobs on Monster.com. Like, I have no idea what to do. And I hired a life coach. I did. But seriously. I I hired a life coach and was like, can you help me figure out like what I'm doing and what I want to, because I don't even know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'd be good at. I don't know what I would like. I don't know what I would enjoy. And so hiring a life coach, which thankfully I was in Los Angeles and they are abundant, but I got very lucky that I hired like the most incredible, talented woman. And yeah, and so I and at the beginning, I was literally like, I have no idea. That's how I got into stand-up. I'm like, I have no idea what I would want to do. And she's like, well, make a list of things you could do. Anything, like receptionist, surf instructor. I'm like, I don't know how to surf. And she's like, write it down. And so I wrote down a list of everything I could do. And she's like, now spend time on each one and see if you feel a spark. See if you feel some kind of energy shifting in you. And I was like going down the list. And when I got to stand-up comedian, which by the way was like 25th on the list.
Wowie.
I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Signed up for a class. And rest is history.
We love that.
Yeah. So it's like, you don't
That's
always
what brought us together.
Yeah. And you don't always have to be clear. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I just know nursing is my calling, or I know acting is my calling, or I know teaching is my calling. Like, I had no clue. But I spent the time and invested in myself, by myself, not in a relationship. Like, I'm going to spend time investing in myself and my future.
And the return is,
you
have a beautiful life. You manifested it.
I did. It's cool to think that I'm living the life now that I manifested 5 years ago.
And sometimes I get it's so crazy when you're like living in moments that you used to like dream about, but then you're like in those moments and you're still like, me, not saying you, but like I've been like ungrateful for these like new problems, and I'm like, wait, I asked for these problems. Yeah. I can't be mad. I asked for them.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally get that feeling all the time, actually. And it's that daily practice of like stepping back and, you know, taking stock of your life. And
for sure.
Yeah.
So you just underwent something super crazy, and I want you to talk about it.
I underwent something?
You underwent something. Yeah.
I had a colonoscopy. Like,
did you really?
I've had 3. Like,
what? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She has a lot of
I have a lot of health issues. Like a lot.
Intestinal.
All over, honestly.
All over.
The whole body.
Okay. You just did something that I think is just very modern woman of you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. How did you forget? Was it that traumatic? Did you black it out?
No, I've just been through a lot. Like, which thing were you talking about? What did I undergo?
You froze your eggs.
I did.
That is so just modern woman. Like, look at you. What was that like? I saw your videos. It looked painful, but like, what was that whole journey like?
Total mindfuck. We're real here. No, it was one of those things where I'm very, very on the fence about kids.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old. I was 32 at the time. And I'm very much on the fence about kids. Marriage is not in my like soon future. Kids definitely not in my short-term future. Potentially not even in my long-term future. I don't know. But I did feel this biological concern that it was like, I'm concerned that one day I'm going to wake up and be like, oh, now's a good time. Or now I'd want to have kids and I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
And I joke about this, but this is like kind of real. I think if I didn't have an anxiety disorder, I probably wouldn't have frozen my eggs. I literally froze my eggs just in case. Like,
no, that's why everyone does it, I thought, right?
It's like it's an insurance policy. Like, in case I wake up and I'm like, oh, actually, I do want to have kids. And it's like, I want to still have that option, you know?
Yeah, which I think is, like, why it's there and, like, why people do it, right?
So, I mean, either that or they just, like, feel like throwing away $15,000, so.
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was so expensive.
She's rich.
I used to be until I froze my eggs.
People are selling theirs and you're freezing them. Like, come on.
Stop. No, I'm not kidding. Okay, so when I was looking at, because I didn't really, when I started the process, I didn't have $15,000 to spend on it.
So you're like, I'll sell a couple, freeze a couple.
Well, they have programs where you can donate half of the eggs you retrieve, and they'll pay for the whole process. So you get to keep half of them and the other half you donate.
But they're taking the good ones, I bet.
Well, no, I think it's like a 50-50 split.
Okay.
So I signed up for it, was super excited, filled out all their questionnaires, got to like the medical testing and stuff like that. Nobody wanted my eggs.
Is it because of the...
I have a lot of health issues. Like, a lot. Like, I
But
mean,
that's still, like, your eggs matter.
Apparently not. They're like, bitch, you're the only one who wants these.
And you don't even know if you want them.
And literally, I don't even know if I want them. So, yeah, so I ended up having to pay out of pocket, drained my savings completely.
Wow.
Which has actually, you know, I've saved even more than that now since then. Like, manifestation and circulation is a beautiful thing.
You teach me how to do that?
Yeah, I absolutely will.
You drained your savings for this.
Yes.
You've built her back up. We love that.
Yeah.
Follow for more financial secrets.
Here's the secret. Don't freeze your eggs.
No, freeze them if you want.
No, I'm so relieved that I did it.
If I had 12 grand right now just like laying around, I would do it because I get scared every day. Every day I wake up and I'm like, your eggs are dying more today.
That's a little dramatic, but also you're still in your 20s.
Like, barely.
Yeah, but like you still have several good years left, so.
Okay, a couple questions.
Sure.
What was the process like? But most importantly, now that you don't have eggs in you, are they all out?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm such a bad woman. I'm like, how does it feel to be eggless?
You don't move your ovaries. Like,
so you still have eggs in there?
Yeah.
Dang it. That's not how I thought it worked. This is not a science podcast. Like, don't fucking fact check me.
Okay. Our health classes failed. It's like that.
Yeah. Don't have sex and just like.
And literally they just taught us like penis and vagina.
Yeah.
Like, could you tell us about our fallopian tubes or no?
Like, I don't want to like add any like stereotypes to the South. Like, they're good. They have enough. But like, the education wasn't, super.
No, it wasn't great.
It's like for the long, like, never mind.
Say it.
No, my mom is a grown, and we were like playing trivia one time, and we were like, who won the Civil War? And she was like, the South. And I'm like, said it so confidently.
Oh my God.
But like, whatever.
That's literally what we're taught.
No, so not to like. I thought you just didn't have eggs in you anymore.
No, I do. So how it works, I'll give you a quick
science
breakdown. So what they do is they overstimulate your ovaries.
Okay.
So you only release like one egg in a cycle, right?
Okay.
So instead they overstimulate your ovaries using hormones that I was shooting straight into my abdomen. And that way they're producing a ton of eggs, like so many more eggs. So instead of just like maturing one egg and releasing it for your period, it's lots of eggs. So I ended up maturing 25 eggs and 22 were able to be frozen, were mature enough to be frozen in 1 month. So the whole process I think took about 6-ish weeks. I ended up having to do more medication, more hormone treatment because not enough eggs had matured. They gave me a few more days of it. It was like a whole thing. It was a lot.
Did you have to go to surgery for that, right?
Yeah, so the removal of the eggs, yeah, they put you under anesthesia, like somebody has to come pick you up. You can't drive for like 24 hours. It's like a whole thing. So, and they go in vaginally.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you still have eggs. I thought you were just like an empty cage over there.
If I decided tomorrow that I wanted, like, I want to have a baby, I could do it naturally.
Really?
Yeah.
I am learning so much from this podcast.
Yeah, it doesn't like prevent you from being able to have children naturally in the future.
Would you recommend it to someone?
It depends. Like on what their situation is. If they want to have children, they know for sure, but they don't have like a partner that they see themselves having kids with, 100%. go ahead and freeze your eggs. If they're on the fence and they really can't decide whether or not they want to have kids, like I was, freeze your eggs. And if you have 15 grand to burn. But like there are a lot of like not a lot. There are a few financing options out there. And I know some people who put it on credit cards. There are also great insurance options that only a few companies have. So I know people who got it covered fully by their health insurance.
Wow.
Companies. Yeah, so it's just
I forget what it's like to have health insurance.
It's nice, Montana. You should look into it.
Okay, so I'm so proud of you. Even though whatever happens, like I'm proud of you because it's like an option, and we'll play this when you're in the delivery room.
Did you see the face I just made?
Yeah, I see it. Babies? I see it. She's a great actress. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we end on a question, and then I want you to tell us what you have going on, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
And you've been living with a man for 5 years, or not 5 years. No. How long have y'all been living together?
Well, he kind of moved in when the pandemic started, so like 4 years.
Okay, so I was off. You've been with a man for 5 years. You've been living with one for 4 years-ish. Mm-hmm. You have to have some icks. Like, what is an ick that you have? I'll think of a recent one I have, and then tell us what you got going on.
Oh, mine was less about like living with a person and just like general
icks. Okay, yeah. Give us a general ick.
People who assume the worst or don't give benefit of the doubt to people.
Ick.
That icks me out. Like when someone is like, I don't know, short with you or whatever, and they just like, and the other person just assumes like, oh, that person's a bitch. That bothers me. It's like they could have been having a bad day. Like you have no idea what's going on in their life, you know? Or people who are like, I don't know, somebody like is speeding in traffic or cuts you off or something. And they're like, that guy's an asshole. And it's like, you have no idea what that person is.
His mom could have just died or something.
Yeah. And it's just like, it really bothers me when you don't give people the benefit of the doubt. That grosses me out. That's an ick.
That's a good one. What is mine?
Also, he puts trash on the counter, and that bothers me a lot. Like, if we, like, get takeout, instead of throwing the garbage into the garbage can where it goes, he'll put the garbage on the counter, and then that's our new trash bag. So, like, as we collect trash, he will also put it in there. And I'm like, no, we have a trash can for a reason. Why do we have a new trash can on our kitchen counter?
I understand that one. Like
his perspective or my perspective?
Yours.
Thank you.
Well, kind of both. I'm not going to lie, because I am a bit of I wouldn't put it on the counter, but we have our recycling. We have a trash can and then we have a recycling. So sometimes if we do have those, you're looking at me like you're about to kill me. I will have those brown bags, like a takeout bag or like a Ralph's bag or something. And then we'll use that to put the recycling in. But it's on the ground. It would never be on the counter.
Okay. I accept that.
We're recycling.
Yeah.
But I also get your perspective. Like, ew, gross, get it off the counter.
It's garbage. It's literal
garbage. I hate the cabinets being open. Like, if someone I'm dating, like, just is, like, getting stuff out of the freaking cabinets and then they leave all the cabinet doors open, that's more of an annoyance. It's not like an ick, I guess. And then what else do you have going on? Tell everyone about Kate.
Okay.
Who's Kate?
So, I'm a stand-up comedian, first and foremost.
She's the only one I like.
For lots of reasons. Roxanne Acree Comedy is my handle.
Check out our website, too.
All over the country. Oh, yeah, RoxanneAcree.com. Acree is Acree. And I also was recently got the role as Citizen Kate for a political comedy platform. And so I'll be going to both the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. I'll be providing some comedic relief and political commentary. I interview politicians. I interview potential voters. It's a lot of fun, and I'm talking about things that mean something to me, and that's important. That feels good.
So we don't get political on this podcast typically, but I don't really think I would ever vote again. I voted like once, twice, 2 elections. What would you say to me as a non-voter? Am I a bad citizen, Kate?
Oh, I would never call somebody a bad citizen. And I think
You would never call someone a bad citizen?
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
Okay. But not for that.
Okay.
I think that people who feel disenchanted with voting and discouraged about voting are very valid, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Now, the argument that I would have for voting is that you're not just voting for a president, you're voting for school board members, you are voting for city council, you are voting for your sheriff's department, like you are voting for judges that you might be getting in front of one day. You are voting for so much more important things than just like the guy being interviewed on television. Like it's so much more important than that. Ballot initiatives are really important. I canvassed for the Reform LA Jails initiative that was about criminal justice reform in the LA jail system. That shit is important.
Oh, I'm big into
anti-recidivism and things like that. And so it's so important that we show up and vote in these elections, not just for like these old ass white guys who are running for president, but like Congress people and people that are making laws that affect your access to healthcare, women's access to choice, like things like that. Those are all further down the ballot. And even if you leave the presidential ballot blank for the rest of your life, vote for the other stuff. Like, that stuff is so important.
Citizen Kate, Roxanne Acree, that was just a stellar pitch. You've got my vote.
I will never run for a political seat ever.
Well, if you did, you have my vote.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you'd like to say before we end the podcast?
Kendrick won that rap beef.
Okay, goodbye. Okay, I love you guys. I mean it. We're always Team Drake here. I will sign that NDA, Daddy. Love you. Mean it. Bye.